Hi everyone, thanks for joining me. This is going to be the reading for the psychic reading for the full moon in Taurus happening on November 12th, 8:34 a.m. Eastern Time, but times are going to vary. I'm Vickieverlie, the rock and roll prophetess. I also do tarot, psychic tarot, and I do psychic astrology. And the keyword being psychic astrology. So if you're a very by-the-book astrologer and you're saying, well, that's not right, that doesn't mean that, that's not what the book said, then maybe this isn't the forecast for you. And then on the other hand, if you are somebody that's looking at this and thinking, oh, geez, this looks like a bunch of astrology, I'm not going to understand it, hang in there because it gets more psychic as I go along. I just use this basically as sort of a jumping off point, like almost like a scrying tool to kind of tune in and focus. And as we go along, I start getting a lot of more downloads and messages. So that's what we're in for here. If you're ready to go, I'm ready to go. Let's rock and roll. Okay. So it's the full moon in Taurus here. We had the new moon in Scorpio a little while ago. Well, actually, it's like about a week ago from when I'm taping this, and then or last weekend. But anyway, so then the other side of that, it's always the other side. We got the Taurus full moon. You know, and the sun is conjunct Mercury at the time, so we're going to factor in the Mercury energy. But what grabbed me right off when I opened this chart is that Vesta energy. Vesta is exactly conjunct, you know, almost to the minute here. 19 degrees of this full moon here. The full moon itself is at, 19 degrees of Taurus. So, and Vesta's right there. Conjunction obviously means right next to it, same degrees. So, this is intense. There's something intense about this, and it's exactly trining Pluto, and it's trining Saturn up there. We're moving in for that Saturn-Pluto conjunction. So, but before I jump off of the verb, there's lots to talk about. So let's start with this Vesta. The Vesta energy is not. It's actually the time of Taurus, I believe, is the Vestal. Or I think it's June. Anyways, it's in the May-June time frame. There's a festival for Vesta, and it's like the spring festival. It's all about giving birth and new life and all this stuff. So it's kind of strange that it's not strange, but it's happening at this time where in the northern hemisphere we are opposite that. We're opposite the Taurus time. So I get the feeling, and with the Mercury conjuncting the Sun, Mercury's Gemini in June. I think that Vesta festival's in June too. It's like there's some connection to June for everybody. I think there is. I feel like it could be something that happened last June for a lot of people. And maybe because the full moon brings things to fruition, to manifestation, to fullness. So it might be something you might want to think back to what was going on last June, May-June time frame. But I also feel like even though it's a full moon, which is usually not the time to initiate new things, and Mercury's retrograde too, and so, but it's like with the moon energy, it's like there's this, the secret wish that's been coming up in some of my readings for people here lately too, like this secret wish thing. So this secret wish, because that's kind of what the moon energy is. The moon energy is something that is internalized still and has not come forward. It's within you. So combining it with the full moon energy, it could be like you kind of mastered it. Because a lot of times we'll mull around our ideas, because Mercury is ideas and stuff, and Uranus is in the mix a little bit because of its being in Taurus too, and that's all mental mind stuff. So we're mulling around these ideas in our head, and It's to me anyway, during the creative process, it comes in kind of like sometimes the floodgates open and it just like a song will just pour out of me. But that doesn't happen that often. More of the time I get it in little tidbits, I get it in little tidbits and little pieces. It's like pieces to the puzzle. So with this being so mentally involved, with it's opposing the Mercury, and the Sun's conjuncting the Mercury, even though it's retrograding, it could be kind of everything sort of, we've got at least enough to roll with. That's what they're showing me. It might not be a complete idea yet, but we've got enough to actually start. Because I don't know if like you, but I'll have like a million different ideas. Not a million, but probably a lot. You know, close to a million. I don't know if it's close to a million, but I got a lot of them. Okay. And they're just like little bits, little like confetti, little pieces of paper flying all around, and I'm kind of filing them away in my brain and filing these away in my brain, and then it'll sort of start to become this cohesive thing. And Taurus also is very much a cohesive kind of energy. It's like pulling it down and making it into something really 3D, real and grounded. An actual, not just something flying around the atmosphere, but a very pulling it in to be, you know, a physical thing, whether it's a piece of art or you write something, or if it's an invention or an idea you have like that. Nobody, stay here. The dog's with me, so they're making noise outside. He's ready to go protect me because he's such a good protector. He is such a good protector, aren't you, buddy? Yeah. Anyways, but back to the reading. Yeah, so it's like this could really kind of pull it all together. And again, even after all the little tidbits are pulled together into somewhat of a cohesive thing, there's still more editing and more revising and more finessing that always needs to be done. But this is like the initial, oh, I kind of got that. For some of you, I'm picking up like this is going to be, like I got that, is going to be some kind of thing that you've been kind of mulling around about or suspecting. Something that with Scorpio energy, like you had suspicions. I knew that. I'm getting that kind of vibe coming through too out of left field here, right out of the right here. You know, that you kind of had this vibe, you kind of had this feeling like that something maybe sort of, you know, underhanded or something was going on. And you're just kind of like, yeah, man, I knew that was crap was going on. and you kind of pull it in, and it's just like you figure it all out. So that's why they said that. Oh, and then you start thinking back, you know, with Mercury retrograde too, to all the past stuff. Oh, so that's why they said that, and that's why they did this, and blah, 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 blah. I see it all so clearly now. Mwahaha. But hopefully, you know, you don't spend a whole lot of time on that kind of stuff. But that definitely just shot right in here. I hope that's not going to happen for me. Because sometimes I'm just like, you know, whatever. People want to lie. People want to play their little games. If it makes you happy, you know, not rock on with your bad self. Because I'm not going to go into that zone. I try not to. Try not to go in that zone. Aha! I knew it! Well, plus shouting from the mountains how people have done you wrong, or the bad things that happened to you, or this and that and the other, you're just, you know, amplifying that energy. And the full moon is definitely a time of amplifying the energy too. So you don't want to actually amplify anything that's negative. But you know, you could just handle it in a Scorpio way, like, I knew it all along. But back to now, this is so close with this Vesta. I want to get into this Vesta energy. Now she has the festival in the spring, early, you know, spring. I think it's June. We could look it up. I'm not going to look it up though. But Vesta was the home and the hearth and all that. But Vesta, I believe in the mythology of Vesta too. There's some, I can't remember which one it is, but there's some, if anybody knows, you can put in the comments. She came to somebody in a dream. It was some other thing in mythology, and I can't quite put my finger on it right now. I think it's like another story or another fable. But anyway, she came, and it was like a prophetic dream that somebody was having, and it was a message from Vesta. So she is somewhat of a messenger, and the moon rules over our dreams too. So back to the dream thing, you know, we could really start getting, we could definitely get some prophetic messages and some prophetic dream, you know, precognitive dreams or prophetic. But it's just like things, I feel like it's just coming to, that's the full moon, things come to conclusion. But it's just like there's been things, it's been scattered, like the confetti or our thoughts or our psychic messages or our whatever. It feels like there's been a lot of scattered energy. Maybe because the Uranus has been in Taurus, you know, and the Uranus has that effect. It'll scatter things around. But this is kind of like, we're going to bring it together. We're going to have our aha moments. We're going to see what it is. We're going to get our prophetic dreams. We're going to get our messages. And the Scorpio energy, even though it's not the full moon, you know, it's opposing the Scorpio energy. It's not, the full moon's not in Scorpio, but Scorpio energy, excuse me, has that, you know, digging in that, excuse me, the subconscious mind and all that. And the Mercury helps us make sense of it. I think I need to get a cough drop. Excuse me, I'm getting a little hoarse here. Yeah, the Mercury kind of gives you the ability to communicate. It's funny, I'm talking about Mercury and communication, and this is my throat chakra, and then Taurus also rules the throat. And if you do the physical, every part, everything of the zodiac rules some kind of a body part. Aries is head, Taurus is throat. I shouldn't have started on this because I don't have it memorized. But I think Scorpio is the reproductive, you know, like your sexual organs. Cancer's the stomach. Capricorn's the bones. Pisces are the feet. Gemini is the hands. Yeah, so they all rule different body parts, and the Taurus rules the throat, and it rules the voice and singing. You can give voice to something, I think. And maybe my throat here. I feel like this is not an accident that the throat is doing its thing here. Hold on. But I still need to clear it up so I can talk. Hold on. Excuse me. Yeah, give voice to something. Even if you choke on it coming up, or even if it's difficult to say, maybe. You have difficulty getting it out. You have difficulty expressing it. You could express it with utmost clarity is what I'm getting about it right now. Well, you know, with that Scorpio, don't be too utmost clarity. Because you could really let somebody have it, you know. That's forked tongue thing. They're showing me the image of the forked tongue. Meaning somebody that could, you know, cut you down with their words. Yeah, but the other thing is it's trining this Pluto Capricorn stuff up here. Pluto Saturn. So there could be things coming to light, more things coming to light. In corruption and power, the powers that be. This kind of things could absolutely come to light. And Taurus rules money. So it could be like embezzling of funds, you know, those kind of things, or follow the money, where'd the money go. That kind of energy is definitely going on too. It's also sextiling the Neptune, Lilith over here. Where did I say Juno? Where's Miss Juno at anyway? She's over here. But yeah, it's sextiling this strong Piscean energy too, which again lends itself to this going into the dream world, going into the subconscious mind. All these creative messages and dreams and things like that, that's all here. Lilith wants to bring it out, Scorpio wants to bring it out, and Taurus energy is illuminating everything. All the water signs are not exactly in the world as much. They are the most spiritual, they're the most psychic, they're the most intuitive and in spirit. So this is a combination of that, and it's through a sextile in a favorable way. You know, earth feeds, water feeds earth. So it can come out in a less painful way, or it doesn't have to be so abrupt or disruptive or painful. It has more flow. You know, it could come out in a more flowing way. We do have Vesta, speaking of Vesta, opposing Chiron here. Yeah, this is dealing with our relationship stuff here. You know, this is 7th house, Libra, Vesta, and Aries, 1st house here. What I'm getting from this is you got to heal yourself. You got to heal yourself. That's what Aries. That's the biggest message besides taking action about what we've been wounded over. Chiron going through Pisces was us realizing where our deep wounds lie and where our pain really comes from, and remembering it. In Aries, it's taking action. But also Aries being the 1st house, the self, me, myself, and I. You've got to heal yourself now, and it's not surprising that that's really becoming a theme. Along with the Cancer North Node, which is nurturing, you know. We've got actually a big T-square in the cardinal signs, a loose orb. We've got loose orb, meaning it's not, you know, it's not 8 degrees out here, but it's only 6 degrees out here. Orb is the distance between, the amount of degrees between the two things that I'm talking about, if you're unfamiliar. So we've got this square going on here. We've got Chiron, Juno, and the nodes. We got to get ourselves right about relationships, because the node is all about aligning with our true paths, leave it, you know, purging the past, coming forward into the future in a nurturing, loving way, healing ourselves in a nurturing, loving way. Then we can have the Juno Libra partnerships. If you're someone, and everybody's done it, especially if you're coming off a fresh breakup. I mean, I've done it. Well, they were such an asshole. They did this, and you know, what happened to your relationship? Well, I'll tell you all about it. They did this, and they point that finger. It's all about reining that in and bringing it home, and bringing it into here, you know, yourself. Heal yourself, because it's just a mirror of your own wounds, man. It really is. And then, you know, doing that self-love thing, nurturing yourself. Nurturing and you know, because of the 4th house energy, it's nurturing and forgiving those who have done you wrong, or those who have harmed you, is what I'm getting. So I know it's not an easy task. It's a monumental task. It can be a monumental task for sure. And we are coming up on the holiday season. You know, Thanksgiving's right around the corner for those of us who celebrate that, and then we get into all the whole shebang, you know, the whole thing. It just starts. And family is going to be a thing. And that's a lot of times where our deepest wounds lie. That's a lot of times where our you know, lovers come and go, but the family is always the thing. That's the bottom of the chart. That's where we sprang forth from, and that is where we came from in every sense of the word, not only through our birth canal of our mother or whoever, the physical body, but where our psyche was born, where our our mindsets, our beliefs, our habits, our way of thinking, our way of life, all came from there, you know. And it's about addressing it, and it's about addressing it with love. Coming at this stuff with love, not with anger, because that's not going to help you not only on the spirit plane and karmically and all that good stuff, which the nodes have a lot to do with. If you're interested in this nodal stuff and karma, I do have that it's soul reading, which is like a past life thing if you're interested in that. But back to what I'm talking about here. You know, not only is it not going to help you advance as a soul, or in your soul journey, but it's just it's the old I'm drinking poison expecting the other person to die. You know, it's toxic energy that you need to be purged of. The full moon is the time for the purging. The second house is not as much the physical body as the Aries, the first, but the second house is totally things of this earth. It's the grounded in the earth plane. It's the most grounded energy of the entire wheel is the Taurian energy. It's it's down there. So we got to purge it, maybe send it back to the earth. You know, a lot of times if you do these clearings and cleansings, you put your feet on the ground and let that, give it back to the earth to be recycled. And they take what's toxic and poison, like the scorpion energy, and revitalizes it and rejuvenates it. And so it can be new again in that May-June time frame for the Northern Hemisphere peeps. You know, it can be new again when in the spring, when the new life comes forth. All right, what else is going on with this chart here? Let's see here. Venus is on the ascendant. If it were, if I ran it, I do a flat wheel so that it's all zeros. But Venus would be on the ascendant, so that gives us a bright outlook, squaring the Neptune. Venus is squaring the Neptune, yeah, exact. And there's a to this moon thing too. It's whatever, the adjustment thing. Yeah, you might want to. It's about examining, and it's moving in on Jupiter too, and Jupiter's moving in on the galactic center. That's going to be huge. That's the next one. It'll be Jupiter on the galactic center. That's going to be huge. But we'll talk about that in the next one. But this is about like examining how we love, how we've been loved, and not only in our relationships but in our our upbringing. Because there has to be an adjustment made. So, yeah, I remember this girl. I forget how I was in contact with her. I don't remember what the situation was, but abusive relationship, beat up all the time, and she says you can't help who you love. Well, you can help who you love, and there are psychological things that you attract these things into your life. I'm not trying to blame the victim, no, but we have to readjust our own energy, because people will do that over and over again. They'll attract abusers over and over again, or attract alcoholics over and over again, or attract philanderers over and over again. We attract these into our life, and yeah, there are karmic things, and yeah, or maybe it goes back to your family line and this and that, but the way to be free of this, if we really want to heal, we've got to break free of these patterns. We've got to break free of them. We can't just say, oh, you're blaming, yeah, another, all men are dogs, and I just gotta, adopt that attitude. Well, you're announcing to the world that all men are dogs, and therefore, that's what you're gonna, so it shall be, And I mean, I've done it all, believe me. But I'm not trying to sit on my high and mighty thing and preach to anybody about their life. But I'm saying, whatever, if you want to heal this stuff, because really, isn't that what you really want? Do you want to keep it? It's going to take some healing. It's going to take some changes. It's going to take time to do the healing work. And you've got to forgive. You've got to forgive, even if you don't get a past life reading and find out, okay, because most of the time, maybe not, but many times it'll turn out that way, Somebody was mean to you, well, in another life, you were the abuser, and, you've got to walk in their moccasins and tit for tat and that whole thing. But then it's just forever. So then you're the perpetrator, you're the victim, you're the perpetrator, you're the victim, and you just get caught in the wheel of karma. So that we want to jump off of that. You want to get off of that wheel. You want to ascend to the next level. You want to put that to bed, put that to rest. It starts here. It starts with this working on yourself. It starts with forgiving these people, and you got to forgive them wholeheartedly. I mean, you don't have to go hang out with them and whatnot, but you got to let it go. You gotta love their broken inner child too, because if anybody has messed with you, they're obviously messed up inside themselves. We all are. That's the human condition, man. We're all messed up. We're all screwed up. We're all emotionally screwed up. We're all mentally screwed up. We all had childhood traumas. We all had. That's the human condition. That's life in the big city, kids. And not trying to be harsh, but, embracing suffering and perpetuating suffering does nobody any good. It just doesn't. So, Taurus, let's get grounded, but let's do this self-love thing. Vesta is kind of similar to Cancer energy. It's the home, the hearth, the family. Vesta was pure. She was a virgin, and so she didn't really get into all this relationship drama. She didn't get into any relationship drama. She was kind of a martyr, I guess, sacrificial, but she did it willingly. I don't feel Vesta as a martyr at all. I feel Vesta as noble. She's noble. But you come to Earth, we want to get our hands dirty. Sometimes I'll see that when I do the past life readings. People will spend a lot of time doing the monastery thing or in seclusion. You know, they'll do a bunch of lifetimes like that because they're afraid to jump back in or get their hands dirty again. But then eventually you got to do it. You got to take that leap. You got to take that plunge. But maybe this time around you can do it in different ways. Or if you're in a long-term relationship, it doesn't mean like you got to, oh, this guy, you know, this has been nothing but crap for so many years, so I'm just going to dump him and start fresh. You start fresh every day when you wake up in the morning. You can start fresh in your current relationship. You cannot go back and forth with the same triggers and banters, you know. Well, they say this and I react this way, and back and forth, and batting that like I'm seeing like a ping pong table, batting back and forth, you know. You can just catch the ball and stop. You know, they bat one at you and you just stop and take the high road. And I know there's people that'll just keep trying. They've got a whole bucket full of balls down there and they're just bam, bam, bam. But, you know, then maybe you say, I'm going for a walk, you know, just get out of the house. But it can be hard because your ego kicks in and you want to, but does that make you feel better? Going Mercury, you know, just batting it back and forth with the mental, whatever, you know, this arguing and, you know, little digs or whatever. It's, you know, there's always that. Not always. I shouldn't say that. But that happens a lot. You get into that. What about throwing back, like, man, you know, something really beautiful about, you know what I really admire about you? That's the best way to disarm somebody. And I haven't always done it, but there's times when I've had those moments of grace where when I don't let my emotions get to me, and I'll fall into that, and I'll say, you know what's great about you, and not to be an asshole, not being sarcastic, but say something insightful. Mercury and Scorpio, say something to them that maybe they don't see about themselves, but is true, or something, you know. And mean it genuinely. Because there must be something good about them. Why are you hanging out with them in the first place? You know, they must have some redeeming qualities. And it kind of disarms them. Because it's almost like we're strapping on our armor, ready to play our ping pong match. You know, bang, bang, bang. And you catch the ball and you say, love, you know. Spread a little love on them, you know. Dump a little love on them. A little bit of love goes a long, long way. That's one of my songs. I gotta get it out there. But a little bit of love goes a long, long way. And that is the truth, man. So you can disarm that. I know it's hard to do. I know it's hard not to fall in the back patterns. I know these people know how to press your buttons and you want to just fight back and get them back, you know. And with the forked tongue thing, with the Mercury and the Sun and Scorpio, you know, you could probably be thinking up some really good zingers there. But just don't, you know. It's like the little devil on the shoulder, you know. Well, just tell them, say this. So anyways, yeah, that's the chart. It's a full moon in Taurus, so this is the time to bring things into manifestation with the moon, you know. Things that are in the ethers, things that are in your dreams, things that are your emotions. You know, you can get a grip on your emotions, and you can have these realizations. Well, you know, why does he irritate me all the time? Well, because I let him. Or just because he says, or like this is a classic, you know, or the toothpaste. Just because he doesn't like the way I roll with toothpaste, does us have to go into this whole spiel? Do we have to go into this whole back and forth thing? Who cares? Is that a deal breaker? Is that anything to get my, you know, my tail feathers ruffled over? You know, because we're going to fight about the toothpaste again? Or are we going to say, you know what I really like about you? And then they're just like, whoa, they don't know, they don't know what to do with that. Because you didn't throw the ball back. No. Okay. There are people, again, who are insistent on it, and they do have their whole bucket of balls there, and they're just going to keep whipping them. And then maybe you need to just go away for a minute, you know. See, yeah, I'm going for a walk. And I know it's hard because you want to fight back, but that will disarm them eventually. Okay, Mercury pose. We talked about everything. Yeah, so it's a full moon in Taurus. Bringing dreams into reality. getting a grip on a lot of things, building up our strength, building up our emotional strength as we go into this time. And the other thing about the holidays, even if it's not like, oh God, I got to go see my family and it's going to be drama, it's, which I count myself among that. If your loved ones aren't with you anymore, a lot of them, my whole family of origin's gone. I mean, I have my kids and stuff, but they're gone. They've been gone for a long time. And even all these years later, the holidays is really like a knife in the heart, and it is for a lot of people, and it's like a knife in the heart, because you don't have your family anymore, and you remember all the good times that you had together and whatnot, and it can be really, really painful, and it can be a really difficult time for people to get through. So keep that in mind too, if you know somebody who's alone on the holiday. Even if you can't maybe do invite them to your family dinner, maybe say, hey, you want to get lunch, or whatever. Do something, reach out to people, who don't have the family during this time, because that can be really rough. It really can be. Luckily I have kids and that, but there's a lot of people who don't, and it can be really tough. So these emotions are really coming through. It's a time of healing. It's a time of where we could say things that we don't mean, and there could be some bickering going on. And you choose to participate or not. You choose to bet the ball back or not to. All right, everyone. Hey, I've got those year ahead readings going on. It's a little bit of astrology. I kind of look at like the Saturn Pluto for next year and some of the eclipses, and then I do a card reading and an animal totem for you. Those are the big hot item right now. They'll be available for a limited time. The only astrology reading that I'm currently offering that's strictly astrology is the past life reading. Well, it's psychic astrology like this. And that's the soul's journey reading. So if you're interested, you can find all that information on my website or below. And speaking of the holidays, I got all kinds of cool stuff. If you want to, some of it can be really good gift ideas. I've got t-shirts and books and decks and adult coloring books and all kinds of stuff. And by supporting me and purchasing my wares or donating, I have Patreon and other means of donating through PayPal and whatnot, that all keeps this station going, month after month, year after year. And I appreciate all your support so much, and everything else that you do in the way of liking, sharing, commenting my videos. That all, don't forget to hit subscribe, all that good stuff. So I appreciate y'all, I really do. So full moon in Taurus, a lot of emotional energy, grounded in the earth. Take care of yourself. Don't engage too much in back and forth kind of stuff. And next one, we're going to talk about this galactic center. That's going to be pretty big. A really big show, baby. Okay, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. Remember, you're love and beauty incarnate. Have a great full moon, and I'll speak to you soon.